Strive for improvement, time for the blueprint. Minds to elevate, thrive, and demonstrate, planting a movement. Sow the seeds, educate the flourish, building up the team. Our network with purpose, industry is green. We've only scratched the surface, know this call is deep. Nobody gon' outwork us. Yeah, we chasing greatness, trying to give the code. Moving up with patience, foundation stone. Doing what it takes, we're here to break the mold. This for anyone who wanna level up. Let's grow.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast. Guys, this one we are doing via Zoom, so just a disclaimer. If you hear any audio interruptions or anything, we're doing it from Zoom. All right, today we're going to be interviewing a software company that brings so much to the table. Super excited. Talk about innovation, talk about new. If you guys are on, let's say on the sideline of what should I do? I need an inventory management system. I need a payment processing system. I need, let's say, like a QuickBooks. What's an alternative? What can I start using today to be able to grow my business into something more that can grow with me? Today, we're going to be talking to Joshua, guys, from Emprise. What is up, my bro? How was everything, man? I'm pumped for today's episode.
Yes. How are you doing, Willie? I'm doing well.
Everything is good, man. Better now that we're on the other side. We finally get to sit down and speak because I know this is something that I saw you at the plant show and we talked back and forth. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? I apologize for being late.
No worries, man. Guys, so you guys listening, we just have someone else that jumped in. Introduce yourself, my friend. What's your name?
My name is Garrett Walsh, and I'm a pre-sales consultant with Emprise Agriware.
Awesome. So we have two guys here, two professionals to talk about their companies and what they work for and what they stand for and what they're here to do for us in the industry, which is the most exciting part. Because a lot of us in this industry, guys, I don't know if you know this, but we're hungry to keep growing. The industry itself is here to really, really grow. And a lot of us are up and coming, and we really want to be around people that can help us grow and get to where we're trying to do with systems, processes, a bunch of stuff. That's stuff that we're integrating here at A's. So the fact that we're talking today is kind of funny because we're in the middle of something similar of what we should do, right? So talk to us real fast, guys. I want this podcast to be about, I want the user, the person that's listening on the other side, to get knowledge on how this can help them. Okay. So if we can go through real fast of what the company is, what you guys' positions are there, and then I would love to go into how this can actually help somebody. That guy that's on the sideline, like what do you guys know from your experience is the best way to start this? And a bunch of different things. We'll get into it. But talk
Yeah.
to us first, what is this company about and what does it do for the end user?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are Emprise Agriware. We are a software company that specializes in a full service ERP from start to finish of software that handles all of your operations. So when it comes to inventory management, understanding about finances and how that relates to any kind of accounting or GL understanding that you need, space planning, labor management, tracking and tracing, all those unique components that really comprise of running your operation, being able to do that on an online interface that allows you to report on it, allow you to look ahead of the curve, understand availability, understand everything that gives you that final tool from start to finish to be able to manage your daily operations. And so that's what we specialize. Our main software is called Agriware, and it's built on top of Business Central, which is again a Microsoft product, and it's again that full service ERP.
Okay. Wow. So that's a lot. So for someone that doesn't know what ERP is, can you explain that real fast?
Yeah. So ERP is enterprise resource planning. And essentially, what ERP allows you to do is it's that main software that's going to track all of your inventory management. When ERP was first invented and built, it was really built for standard manufacturing. And so being able to track and trace all of those inputs to get that output and being able to have that direct control and inventory management, that was the point of really ERP. And what we've kind of built on top of that is as a main function is Agriware handles the nuances of horticulture and still incorporates those main ERP practices. So when it comes to components of shrink, of seasonality, of forward planning, backward planning, those are the things that Agriware really specializes in because those are unique to horticulture, not just standard manufacturing.
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I went through you guys' website and there's just so many things you guys touch. Like even one thing that one thing that we use is QuickBooks. So you
Mhm.
guys would be eliminating something like that, or you can actually join in with somebody that already has QuickBooks, right?
Yeah.
They can they can
Yeah.
they can jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. So QuickBooks is a great example. One thing I know we were talking about, Willie, is what's the theme of hopefully Emprise can bring to the podcast today? It's empowerment.
Mhm.
And it's allowing the user to have full control of their inventory, just like they do inherently when they're managing their field. Our software allows them to do that digitally, so it's there to track and trace and be utilized as a tool. So when it comes to integrating things like QuickBooks or finance, yes, we can do the financial components just like QuickBooks can do, but that's also not necessary. It's not required. We can integrate with QuickBooks as well. And so that's what's probably the most unique thing about our platform, since we are based on Microsoft and we've been around for over 20 years. We're very accustomed to working with different integrations of a lot of different current softwares. That's not just limited to finance. If you guys have any climate control computers, any automation software, we can inherently bring that in. Hopefully the common theme, and Josh is able to back me up on this today, is, yes, we are specifically built for horticulture. But one unique thing that's with horticulture is that we're able to work with those who are very good around us, being able to incorporate that in systematically to our implementation and also to our software gives us the strength because we're allowing those other entities to focus on what they do best and allowing us to kind of bring that in as one single source of truth.
Yeah, no, I see you, and you say 20 years, and then you go on your website and you see everything that you guys offer. The company was founded in what country?
So it's actually founded based out of Holland.
In Holland.
And so that's really where in the horticulture world, they were able to really kind of streamline and build out a lot of those components. And what we were a certified Microsoft provider before Emprise kind of came up. That's what the original company Emprise is. And what we found out is we had a couple horticulture companies reach out to us and say, hey, do you do horticulture? And kind of out of that need and out of that necessity, we built Agriware based on that foundation. And so we've done about 300 go lives worldwide. Our main headquarters is based out of Vindinghal, Holland. And from there, we've been able to really expand globally, where we are represented in multiple countries. We have about 126 employees worldwide. And now the team that Josh and I get to be a part of is that North American team. We have consultants and developers within the US, Canada, and Mexico. And so we're really able to represent everything, not only within this time zone, but within all these different multinationalities.
Okay, that's amazing. No, I love the 20 years because there's so much like innovation with those 20 years and so much data that you guys have collected to really put something that's presentable out there so people can really benefit from. My thing, who is your main client? So like your ideal customer, what do they look like on a small scale? What do they look like on a big scale? So people listening can relate it to themselves.
Josh, you want to take this one?
On a low end is a guy doing what? One employee, five employees. He's got a store. He does retail. He has a shop. A big scale is 1,000 acre nursery, 5,000 acre nursery. Like what are your ideal clients?
So one of our bigger clients is Ball Floral Plant and Thorough. Those are some of the companies that we are partnered up with Emprise. Lower scale, I'm not sure what I consider like a lower scale, but mostly we deal with high production nurseries.
I can build on that. So like Josh said, we are handling everyone that's doing that main production component. So really wholesale growers that are growing for that B2B market. That's really where it kind of started, depending on all product and market types. We have young vegetable growers, we have field and container growers, annuals, perennials, any kind of genetics, tissue culture, all of that main manufacturing as it relates to true traditional horticulture, either for the young vegetable market or the ornamental market. However, as we've expanded, it's allowed us to broaden that entire reach and scope. When it comes to sizing, that's really where we have some unique advantages. Not only have we been around for 20 years and we're able to leverage all of that experience within our software, but it also allows that the standard platform that we're offering today has 20 years of research and development behind it, 20 years of doing multiple different types of companies to support that software. And so when it comes down to it, people always ask me, because all I do all day is I give the demos, I give the insight about where the software starts and where it ends. People ask me, Garrett, what is needed to get started? What is that barrier to entry? And when I always tell everyone, it's always just one license. One license gives you full capacity of the entire suite of opportunity. Now, what that allows us to do is when we approach a project, we can approach it on focusing on those key value components of you and your organization. Agriware has the ability to do a lot, and we can do a lot, and that's wonderful. But if that doesn't bring value to you today, then that's not necessarily what you need right now. That can't be utilized as a tool. So when we kind of go through doing the demos and focusing on those key points, we're really focusing on the exact components so that we can tailor that project and as many users as possible, one to hundreds, that allow us to then bring value. And that's what we kind of identify during that demo process, during that front initiation phase. Because oftentimes with software, people are so afraid of what they don't know. And how we need to approach this, especially as former operations guys like me and Josh are, is we need to approach this just like you would do it in a normal day. If you can still do that concept in theory on pen and paper, let's approach the project small and we scale up big.
I like that. So you go and someone's interested. So you guys, if you have 3 employees and 10 acres, this might be a product that works for you. It does cost something, but over time, it'll allow you to do more and grow into what, Agriware offers. Because I know as people continue to scale and grow, they're going to need more systems and processes to be able to simplify everything throughout their day. So it makes a lot of sense. So you guys tailor what you have available in your toolbox, let's say, to be able to fix the issue that the person has currently. And then from there, you offer all these other things that if they wanted to tap into it, it's already there. It's available. Whenever you're ready for it, just let us know. We'll walk you through another demo, right? And then you guys' job is to go reach out, not just through phone and via phone, but also in person. Do you guys go help setting things up? So like for us, we have 85 acres of product. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to count all this?
Right.
And it's like, okay, so the most intimidating thing, I'm in the middle of this right now. We are literally in the middle of this. And we're thinking on how we're going to process this, how we're going to do this. And it's intimidating because we've never done it before. We don't necessarily 1,000% need it today, but to be able to continue to scale and not have any more loss, this is very much needed. But it's going to cost more money up front to be able to do it. It's going to teach us all and educate us, level us up to get to that next level mentally, that, hey, the old way of doing it, we're not doing it like this anymore. This is the new standard. We're going to hold you accountable. This is your JOB. If you can't do it, I'm sorry, Charlie. I'll have to find somebody else. And that's literally where we are, because we know that if we want to get into online sales, if we want to get into selling what the other guy has down the street, if we want to know what our garden center that we're providing product for has an inventory and needs us to deliver, we need to work with people like you to be able to make this whole system better and faster, cutting out a lot of middlemen, cutting out a lot of phone calls, cutting out a lot of back and forth. So this is where we're at, just us internally. So it's funny that we're having this podcast today.
That's what's always so interesting whenever I approach people about what the product can do. First and foremost, what our whole number one goal is to utilize as much of the standard platform as possible. And how do we first do that? The first way that we approach every single project, doesn't matter if you have $100 million in sales, $1 million in sales. How we approach every single project is we first try to understand what your process is, what your business is. The reason why, yes, we've done a lot of go lives and we worked with a lot of companies globally, but they're not as unique as you are. As you know, in this business, oftentimes people wear a lot of different hats, not only in terms of the jobs that they have, but also with the product of what they grow and how they grow it. So when we first approach a project, you guys, the customer has spent a lifetime building and perfecting the legacy that is their process. It's up to us to understand what that looks like, because you don't need to change generations of work or years of hard work just to conform to a software. So first, when we take that open-minded approach of being able to first understand your situation and then see how that mirrors with standard Agriware, it allows us to approach the project from a component of honesty, where it's not selling you on the great pie in the sky, hey, this could do anything and everything. It's approaching the project from a realistic understanding so that we can have a successful implementation, utilize the software correctly, start and then build and go from there. And I think there's another thing too that's important, the way we approach. Maybe Josh, you can kind of speak to this with our consultants. A lot of the consultants come from the industry itself. So when we approach the business, yes, we are IT professionals, but first and foremost, we come from the business. And so maybe Josh, would you like to kind of elaborate kind of what that means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So with me coming with over 8 years of horticulture experience, when we go into the analysis phase, if you will, when we're meeting with the client, it's more or less we're dissecting everything that you do in your business, right? So we're speaking apples to apples, what is a cutting, what is a grading, sorting, So when we're able to analyze what you do as in your process, we're able to identify the steps, the process more clear, if you will, from our end. It's just where we provide that knowledge to be able to take it to the next step.
Yeah, yeah, because you're aware, you're in horticulture, you've been in here, you have some experience in whatever line. What did you do previously?
I actually didn't go to school for this. I went to school for sports business. Was actually going to start a social media marketing business before I jumped into this. Long story short, I received a message from Garrett of an opportunity to be able to work as a I guess a labor worker at one of the container nurseries that he was running. And from there, I was introduced to the horticulture industry, right? So fell in love with it, understanding, how you can, I didn't know you can make money off of plants, right? And being able to introduce, coming in from being, knowing nothing. And Garrett was able to kind of teach me more or less everything that I knew about the industry. And then from there, I expanded my wings and starting my own nursery, working with other landscaping companies. From there, I was presented with the opportunity with Emprise Agriware, and I love it. You're able to, communicate with people like you of the industry and able to empower them to be able to take their business to the next level. And right now we're dealing with clients, and it's just that, right? They talk about their process. We show them how it looks like in Agriware, and they accept or approve what they're seeing, because it's not what we say, it's what you have to do to be able to utilize your process. So we show you, we teach you, and more or less it's just kind of putting that all together. But anyways, going back towards how I came into this is more or less that.
That's awesome. And you yourself, sir, Mr. Garrett?
I was born in this business. So I grew up in Central Florida. My family's been in the production horticulture world since the 50s. My grandfather originally came on down and did brokerage and was a grower, did a lot of the work in Central Florida, doing a lot of the theme parks, Disney World. Dad did the same thing. He was a broker, obviously, all those big sales components. Growing up in this business, I knew exactly what I wanted to do at a very early age. So I had a lot of a head start on a lot of different people. I originally started as a grower, though. I had my own company. And again, that's where I met Josh. We grew up in the same small town, but being able to connect within this business has been everything. I mean, again, you have those connections with those people growing up, but then when you really have such a tight-knit industry like the horticulture industry is, everyone knows everyone, and being able to foster those relationships is everything. And so I've been really kind of grateful now, going full circle after about 10 years of initially working with Josh and then being back reunited. It's been a blast. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. No,
and Willie, if I could chime into it, now that I got this little platform, I just want to say thank you to Garrett, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. So very thankful for him believing in me to, from the very beginning when he first started. I'm just very thankful for you, Garrett, for believing in me. So,
of course, buddy. Absolutely.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. I'm making memories here on the podcast. Before we continue, you want to just give a huge shout out to our friends over at Plant Finder. If you are in the industry as a plant grower and you're growing plants and you want to jump into the industry, you want to get plugged in direct, you have to jump on Plant Finder. We interviewed the COO, episode 66 with Mr. Lee. You guys got to go listen to that episode. We talked about how much opportunities in this book. 50 years pioneer in the making. They do a book. They also do it online, plantsearch.com. That's for the East Coast of the United States. They also have one for the West Coast. It was so easy. Literally, we reached out. We told them 2-3 things, what we wanted to do, how we wanted to change the game. And we have all of our businesses, plant logistics, delivery company. We have the nursery growers, a doctor for the industry. We have the podcast in here, the nursery in here, everything in here. We support Plant Finder and we love you guys. We just wanted to give you a shout out. All right, guys, enjoy the episode. Let's keep going. I see. So the one thing that our slogan is for this year is something that through prayer God put into my mind, was find lack and fulfill with abundance. So you guys, without knowing, let's say, what you're doing, you're out here, let's say, all right, it's a great idea. We're gonna help people out. What you guys don't understand that you're a part of is something way bigger than what you are. Okay, because there's a lot of people that have dreams to really do something massive. And then there's people like you that come along as tools that can help people like that get to these places. Okay, because it creates a lot of opportunity, what I call like abundance, because it's never ending. The opportunities don't stop. And I see that you guys bring things to the table to do that. So is your software for every single person in the industry? No. But is it for these people that cannot handle what they currently have going on right now? Yes. Is money falling through the cracks and you got to stop it because you don't know you have that product or a product, whatever happens, whatever falls through the cracks, you guys are here. Even for the big companies, you got these big companies that they sell to Home Depot, they sell to Lowe's, to these massive chains. They have 15 conveyor belts that turn into 100 conveyor belts, and they're loading 300 trucks a day. Even those guys benefit the most from you because you charge them whatever you charge them, and they're obviously they get to use you the most, right? But even someone like that can benefit from what you guys bring to the table, and then adding other things that other people have created, like other softwares that you can conjoin into what you're doing. It's all about learning and like asking questions, guys. I know that if any of you are on the other side listening to this, you can reach out to these guys and you can spend 30 minutes with them like we're doing right now. Okay. This was nothing special. This is a meeting set up to do a podcast. They could do the same thing for you, do a 30-minute meeting, an hour meeting where they can sit there and talk to you on how they can help your systems and processes. They can listen to you. Maybe they tell you, hey, man, it's not the right time. Call me back next year when you hit that grand slam. This is what I want to get out of this podcast. Okay. I want you guys to feel comfortable listening to something that's out of your control, right? Letting someone else help you do something that you don't know how to do, because that is the biggest thing that, like you said, fear. We ourselves are growing other companies, not just the nursery, that we are understanding our market. We're understanding our position. That's why I asked you, who's your ideal client? Because if you don't know your ideal client, how are you going to sell to somebody? You're going to be selling to everybody. And it's not like that, right?
Right.
So you guys that are on the sidelines, like there's so much more, and you could tap into what is called abundance by listening and learning from other people and then teaming up with them and collabing. That's something that we've been talking about a lot lately. Everyone looks at everyone as competition. Even you guys, because we've interviewed another company that does something similar to what you guys do today, that they're a startup, okay, not as big as you guys. They're called Plantiful. And that's a startup, so like think about how much they've learned, how much you guys learn. Like one day I know that other things will have to happen in the industry that you guys won't be able to do on your own, that you might need to be able to be a part of that big massive project. You're going to have to team up with someone else. And that's why collabs is, I'm just preaching on the collab word. But
No, I love it. It's
but
great.
so here we are. When it comes to the most intimidating thing for us is how we're going to do this.
Mhm.
We have our people, and I'm gonna use this as an example because it's a good one. We have our team. We have about 70 people on staff, but I do not want to. Let's say I can't take someone from a current position, keep them doing what they're doing, and now add something else, which is like inventory management. I would have to remove somebody. So I would have to spread out what they do to other people, or I would have to hire somebody new on. The most intimidating thing for us is how do we set this up? Is it with scan stickers, which is probably a no? Can we fly the drone over and it counts everything for us? Probably a no, right? Is that even exist? Like, how do we start that? Because that's the most intimidating thing. How do you set it up? Do you guys come? Do you help? Do you help us count plants? Do you label sections for us? Like, how do we do this? Can you give us an overview?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's two fundamental components whenever it comes to choosing a software. It's what's the technical capacity of the software, and then more importantly, how is that implemented? And implementing a software, like you said, is an overhaul. It's a massive undertaking because not only are people doing their normal day-to-day jobs in which they're wearing multiple hats, but they also need to learn this new unique software that, again, will streamline that process, but there is a huge factor of change management.
Mhm.
So how we approach each project is using that same exact approach. We know that the project is going to take X amount of time, but when we do it, we approach it from a very change management orientated setup. We'll actually define a project manager that we set up with you internally. Our project managers are agnostic of the consultants, and all they are there to do is make sure you are on track, holding both parties responsible. When we actually go into each project, we define a steering committee. The steering committee consists of the consultants, the key users, the key ownership, and this project manager. The project manager and the key ownership then are allowed to dictate, are we on schedule? Are we on budget? Are we allowing to really hit all of these goals and milestones? Because it's great to start a project, but if we don't have the clear intention of what it needs to end with, we're not going to start well. And so that's probably the biggest thing that we really take into account. Where as much as I would love to get this software up and running in a month, 2 months, 3 months, more often than not, we take a very methodical, step-by-step approach, allowing us to encompass all those components of change management so that when we allow you guys to go live, you guys are completely independent and you guys are utilizing the software the way it was designed. Not as much as you guys would probably love to call up Josh all the time as that local consultant. The intent of us training you is so that you are completely independent. You're using the software and then you're building that confidence that this is, again, can be utilized as a tool.
All right, no, that's good. That's good. For us is counting everything and being on terms with that. We might even have to close for like a 1 day or something to like restock, inventory numbers, and hiring the right person, someone that wants to do it. You can't just throw somebody into the fire. They got to understand that it is a huge shift, but it allows us to have, guys, platforms like what they do allows us to have accurate numbers of what we have, even stuff that we buy, because we buy a lot of product, even stuff that we have people grow for us, because we have people that grow for us, so we can know their numbers. Then we also implemented something called the nursery growers, which you guys that listen to the podcast have heard is putting a plant doctor in your nursery. We can also have them put in all their information on what got sprayed at what time, when you can go into a property, when you can't. Their software operates in with that as well. There's a lot of things, like even if let's say you're a garden center listening to this and you're like, man, I wish my supplier I didn't have to send a list every morning. Like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this list. I want to go play baseball with my kid. I want to go on this trip to France. Like, I don't know, like for real, I want to go fishing. That's it. You get their software. The vendor has this software, and now they can link up. And now your vendor knows exactly what you're missing and what to take you every morning. It's simplifying things in big ways. And the bigger your operation is, the more cost effective this will be for you. But I do know that, like for us, we see the massive need for this, and also to move forward on any other things that we want to do digitally as a nursery B2B in the future, because we see the future being more digital, and we want it to get that way. We want it to be less of the talking on the phone, every 5 seconds for something that's needed. We want to be able to streamline things. And I know the bigger companies, they have access to all of this, but what about the smaller guys? What about the 5, 10, 15, 20 acre guy that he's running it with 4 people and he needs that extra help? Maybe he can hire that one person that can be like a manager, but also do the inventory and manage that as well. And he gets all in one package. I'm just, thinking about it. We're all hustlers at the end of the day, but like, what is going to help us, right? We all put ourselves in the back, and we're like, no, my business comes first. I got to do this. We don't take care of ourselves. Like, we beat ourselves up, man. And I see this all the time. And what you guys bring to the table is time savings for that ideal client, and the worry free of just, man, this is the number we have. This is going to be ready at this time. This got sprayed this day. This is, I don't know. It's just certainty. It brings more confidence to the table. It lets you sleep better at night. I think about these massive companies that they have, they're selling 20, 50, $100 million, some even close to $1 billion in a year. How do they manage all of this? And it's with softwares like what you guys bring to the table.
That's right. No. That's exactly right. A couple of the unique things you kind of touched on is simplifying your daily process. Our entire software, yes, it is intended to be done in a static location. That's what the main ERP really is. But we actually have an entire separate platform that's built for the Agriware itself, called our operations platform. It's a series of mobile apps that allows you to do all the field registration in the field. So removing pen and paper, and even just that simple little change allows you to have real updated inventory. So if my inventory manager is walking and they're grading, I've got some ones, I've got some fancies, and I've got twos. The moment that they register that out in the field, it's automatically updated so sales knows. Or, hey, I had a big storm come through. I got to go through and scrap everything because I had bad weather, or I'm delaying in my updating process. Sales can know that inherently. So they're trusting the software as a tool, not necessarily hounding the people out in the field of, hey, is that true? Is that real? Same thing goes for pictures, comments, videos, all the time tracking. Anything and everything that needs to happen out in the field, we're allowing the people and trusting the people in the process to interact with the system in the field. That's the way that we've designed that tool. Works in multiple languages. We also have the ability to work offline. So again, if you are a smaller organization that doesn't have Wi-Fi throughout your 20-acre, 40-acre facility, we have multiple apps that work offline. We'll cache those pictures, comments, videos, spray logs. Moment you connect back into the office, it automatically transfers that over. So hopefully that's kind of some indication of how we've built the platform to really empower growers to be able to do their job correctly.
Wow, I love that. And then what about like let's say transferring that info to online? Is that something that can like if you want to do an online store, Shopify store?
Yes.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
talk to us about that if someone wanted to jump into let's say to that market.
Yeah, so e-commerce is that new frontier. It's allowing everyone to see what you have on availability, and again, removing that middle person out, removing a lot of guessing out. We have the ability to completely fully service both kind of actually all three components of e-commerce. We can do all your B2C customers through Shopify. We can also do all your B2B customers through Magento, and we can also do a direct to consumer Shopify, our direct to consumer store if needed. The big benefits is we're able to tailor our Agriware solution so that automatically integrates with those dashboards. So if it is Shopify, you can inherently bring those sales orders in, turn them, approve them, correct them. The big fun thing, especially in the B2B world, is we can actually create an entire customer portal. So your customer can have real insight about the availability that you want them to see. They can see their existing orders. They can see their credit, any kind of financial limits in that portal, and they can go ahead and put all those orders in. And so now, hi, customer, trusted customer, here's your portal. I'm showing you what is available only for you. And you can put those orders in. You can tell you how you want it packed, shipped, loaded, when you want it delivered. That's the benefit of having that portal. So again, now you have more time to focus on enhancing your operation and relaxing a little bit and letting the customer take advantage of being able to take care of that connection.
Yeah, yeah, it's massive. There's a lot, man. There's just so much, and for us in the industry, we're all old school. A lot of us are. So like turning on to this new, this whole new platform, this whole new integration of just so much is amazing. And it blows a lot of people's minds because, the old school doesn't even know that this stuff exists for the most part. And a lot of people too, you got to get to the point that you're searching for something like this. It's not like you're at a $20 million, you do $20 million a year, and now you're like, you know what, let me see if I can, get to this or use this system. Like those people already have systems like this in place. This is for the people that have that 1 million that they're like, yo, how do I get to 3? Or hey, I got to 3 mil. How do I get to 5? Like you guys that are really trying to scale, these are the guys that you need to talk to. These are the guys that you tell them your problems and they're going to tell you a solution that they can bring to the table. And, you guys are very educated in what you do. And I see the passion, I see the fuel. One question, Mr. Garrett, what stopped you from doing your own company to go and push so hard over here at Emprise? What made that happen for you?
So I'm an operations guy at heart, but honestly, growing up in this business, your hair is always on fire. That's the fuel that drives you when you wake up in the morning. I don't know what the day is going to have for me.
Mhm.
What I get to do with this job, which is so exciting, is I get to go and be a part of multiple organizations that are all looking for similar solutions. And like you said, it's this component of abundance of what we could do, but does that
Finding
mean
back.
we should?
Mhm.
And we still get to have that operational component. I still get to put my operations hat and look at the project that way
Mhm.
because ERP selection is a long game. But if we know where we want to be at the very end, we can start with those proactive steps to really scale out the business. The other thing that I'm really happy of why I kind of joined this side of the business is the product that we get to offer. I do believe we are industry leading. We have the fact that we are always on the most up-to-date version, being 100% on the cloud. So you're not tied to previous versions. We're always improving. We're always constantly getting better. And so being able to work with growers on a one-to-one basis, getting to step in their shoes for a day and hopefully coming up with a solution that works for them, that's really what drives it to me because I get to see multiple different types of operations every single week. And that's probably the most exciting thing is I always get to have that challenge and really approach it from that standpoint.
No, and also you think 20 years, Josh, we'll let you go right now. You think 20 years, however long you've been in it, 8 years, you have been able to service so many people, learn your own data, what works here, what you implemented over there, what doesn't work over here, what this type of person is not going to deal with, what this type of person will deal with. Like some people need to grow up a little bit before they can jump into something like this too. You know, what were you going to say, Josh?
No, I was just gonna just chime into what Garrett was saying. One of the cool things about, what we do is, again, it's being a part of, like, just maybe not necessarily in full scale, but just a little drop of what you do in your process, and being able to help, our clients of all sizes being able to accomplish their goals, like vegetable growers, fruit growers, you name it. It's like it almost feels like you're feeding the world, helping feeding the world, because you're being a part of something purposeful. And that's one of the things that I enjoy about being here in Agriware, on top of just the like how Garrett was saying, just you're a part of something that's proven. You're a part of a product that does work, So when you go into the clients and you're speaking and you're showing, you have that confidence knowing that we can do this. If we just have to sit down, strap up our boots, if you will, and just let's get down to the nitty gritty and put it together. So like that's probably one of the coolest things, is like starting from scratch and then building it all together to be able to come to a common goal.
No, it's dope. It's cool because also you get to listen to this other person. You get to build a relationship. You get to now listen to all their dreams. You get to
Yeah.
help make this possible, which is, we try to find something that fuels us, right? And it's
Yes.
for me, it's something that's bigger than me. Okay, so you guys have
Yes.
tapped into that, something that's bigger than you. And then you're also doing, which without you even knowing, you're finding lack and you're fulfilling it with abundance, which is creating endless opportunities for an industry. Think about how powerful you guys get to be. I know you guys are only the North American, guys, but I think there's enough nurseries out here that need your services that don't know that you exist. And even if they did know you exist, they're too intimidated to call and see even how to do this. So like that's why I love these podcasts. So you guys get to see that these guys, if you do reach out to them, it's going to be one of these guys that talk to you. They are real humans, all right? They're in like fueled to do what they do. They're obsessed over it, which means that you're going to have an amazing experience at the end of
Yeah.
the day. And that's what this industry is about. Yes, is there a lot of fire? Is our hair always on fire? Yes. Is there a lot of problems? Yes, there always is, but that's life, my brother. That's not just this industry. Okay. Are we dealing with live things? Yes, but there's other industries too. So we can't put ourselves as, oh, look at us, you know. But we do have a lot of grit in this industry. We are built differently in this industry. And then you have two fellas that have been in the industry that know where there's lack and they're fulfilling it with abundance, showing up every day, obsessed. I'm sorry, guys. This was fun. I cannot wait to see who you guys get to continue working with as time goes on, and maybe we get to hear about some of that stuff. Maybe even any local nurseries down here. I would love to maybe even go talk to them and see how they're experiencing everything and how the change has been from where they were to how they are today. I think that would be a great just podcast to listen to someone that has used you guys and that story of how it has changed the game for them. I think would be amazing as well, like a great testimony. But
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You hit a nerve with the abundance, because you hit something that I've always resonated with me and Josh, and I know Josh, we've talked about this multiple times, but it's why do you do it? Why this business? Why do you do it? Why do you take the time to bring others up around you, to train, to learn? And I know I've talked about this multiple times with Josh, but I'll explain it here. One of the things that's most important is being that this is such a tight-knit group. Regardless of where you go after the interaction today, the most important thing is that you stay in this business.
Mhm.
This business is something that needs those tried and true professionals that are building these relationships, that if, yes, we're working together today, great, but that doesn't mean we can't work together again in the future. And that's kind of what happened with me and Josh. When we kind of split our ways a little bit, very, very well. What's interesting is we all kind of came back to this one center. So being able to work and build these relationships and foster the growth right now means that we're building and sustaining a strong industry that's going to allow us to really grow and define it as the years progress. That's probably the biggest thing about growing up in this business and going to trade shows at a very young age. Seeing my father, seeing my grandfather being able to interact with the unique dynamic of this business, That's probably one of my biggest missions, not only outside of this role, but inside this role, is to make sure that we continue to build and foster those relationships. So anywhere that we can be of service, like Willie mentioned, we'd be more than happy to help. If we're not the right choice for you right now, that doesn't mean we won't be in the future, but that also means we can help you today. So we can help guide and give you that confidence of, yes, we are the right option, or no, we aren't right now, but we can help and be of service anywhere we can be.
Yeah, I love that. Woo. That's awesome. Josh, you got anything else you want to say, brother? Shout out to the family.
Yeah, no, shout out to my beautiful wife, right? And two girls, right? It's funny because when a couple years ago, when I used to, well, I guess I got go down this direction, I would saying thank you to you and Eddie, right? Because when a couple years ago, when I was I would listen to y'all's podcast, and you guys helped me out so much in understanding different perspectives of how to view things. But yeah, no, it's blessed to be here, blessed to have this opportunity to speak to your audience, and with Garrett, just another one in our chapter book, right? Just moving on forward, and yeah, just excited for what's to come for us.
Growth, baby, growth.
Yes.
Awesome, guys, bro. We appreciate you, man. I'm glad that we were able to do something and put something out there that was able to help shape you today. That is powerful. And for everyone else that's listening, we love you guys. We thank you guys, all of you. Thank you guys for the opportunity to spend some time with us and for talking to all of you guys that are listening. So we love you, man. God bless you guys. You guys listening, you already know their information is in the description down below. So you can reach out, set up a call with them. All right, we're formal, guys. You got to reach out, set up a calendar date, all the invite, and get them on the phone and talk to them, see how they can really change what you guys got going on and really elevate you into 2025. Guys, we love you. God bless, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Willie. Appreciate
Time
it.
for the blueprint.
Thank you.
Minds to elevate, thrive, and demonstrate, planting a movement. Sow the seeds, educate the flourish, building up the team. Our network with purpose, industry is green. Only scratch the surface, know this call is deep. Nobody gon' outwork us. Yeah, we chasing greatness, trying to give the code. Moving up with patience, foundation stone. Doing what it takes, we're here to break the mold. This for anyone who wanna level up. Let's grow.